The records kept by is what we know to be our cash book. But here we are only giving reference to the bank column. Because in the cash book, we have the cash column and the bank column. We are not paying attention to the cash column because your cash transaction has nothing to do with bank. So the focus is on the cash book bank column. So this is the records, or these are the records that are kept by the business, which is the cash book. The bank would also keep records of the transactions by preparing a bank statement. So under normal circumstance, the balance on the bank statement should be equal to the balance on the cash book. But we are saying that sometimes that is not the case. The balances disagree or differ from each other. So when that happens, then you have to prepare a bank reconciliation statement. Look at the name, reconciliation. So you want to reconcile. Okay. You want to bring the two to agree. So that's the essence of this topic. So we defined bank reconciliation statement as a statement prepared by the current account holder, which is the business. Okay. To bring, so statement prepared by the customer, the current account holder, to bring the balance of the cash book bank column into agreement with the balance on the bank statement. But of course, it's important that we define a bank statement. And like we all saw last week, a bank statement is a record prepared by a bank and sent to the account holder, giving him or her information about all his deposits and all his withdrawals for the period and the balance on the account. But if you read what I have here, it's a record of the bank in a bank account and the amounts that have been paid into it. So the amount that has been paid to it is the deposits and withdrawn from it, the withdrawals. And it is issued periodically to the holder of the account. Most oftentimes it is within 1 month. Every 1 month you can go for your bank statement. So I think last week I also tried to make it a bit realistic by way of comparing it with how you operate your Momo. Okay, so we assume MTN is your bank. So you as the customer, you prepare your cash book. You know your money, as in when you receive money from people through your Momo, you record it. When you make payment or cash out, you record it. The same way MTN keeps such records. So for those of you who are actively using the Momo, MTN Momo, sometimes you can dial *17 blah blah and check your statement. And that'll give you what you have put in and what you have taken out and any balance on it. Yeah. Okay. Now, to the important issue that we discuss is the reason why or the causes. What causes the two records to disagree? So this one, I'll pick few contributions from you. What are some of the causes? What will make your bank statement balance different from the bank in the cash book, the bank account in the cash book's balance? I think we discussed about 11 of them last week. So who is ready to give me the first one? Mame? Mame, we didn't hear you. Oh, I don't know if you heard her. Can you repeat what she said for me? Mame, I think you may have to type in the chat because your microphone. Okay, so while we wait for Mami in the chat, okay, Mami just put it in the chat, and I believe we all can see. She says, "Oh, she says my microphone isn't working." I thought she was going to I said unpresented check, yes. So the first course Mami is giving us is the unpresented check. Okay, unpresented check. So let's list them. When we finish, we'll look at them. Apart from the unpresented, what else? If you would want to give me one.
Please, uncredited checks.
Uncredited checks. Uncredited checks. Good. I think I will need a mail. Yes, which of the mails? I don't have Sir Kenton and Joel here. Sir Christian, you are the only, and Sir Kennedy. But Kennedy couldn't make it up for last week, so I doubt if you could continue. Sir Chris, you remember any of the course? Yeah.
So dishonored checks.
Dishonored check. Thank you very much. Yes, Auntie Benne. I don't know if you can assist. Auntie Senna. Okay, somebody put something in the chat. Okay. If you are well noted. Auntie Benne and Auntie Senna, I'm waiting for a contribution from you. Anything you remember, unless you couldn't join last week, then I can move on to somebody else. I guess their silence means they would want to hold on. So Jacinda, you put up your hand. Can you list?
Please stand in order.
Standing. Hey, Madam Jacinda, this is your order. Standing order. Amma, you want to give me one?
Please, interest.
Okay, interest received. Interest received, or sometimes dividend. Interest received or dividend. And I explained dividend the last time, but I'll throw more light on it today. Okay, I think we have about 4 more to go, or 5. Let me also add on, we have the credit transfer, or what we call the direct credit. And we also saw debit transfers.
Bank charges.
Yes, or direct debit. Then we saw number 8, the bank charges. Bank charges. And I think the last 2 were errors or error made by the bank. And number 10, errors made by the bookkeeper. The bookkeeper is the one who is preparing the cash book for the business. I want to believe I've exhausted the list, so if not, let me check from here for my notes. Okay, unpresented, uncredited, dishonest, standing on that direct debit, incomes received, bank charges. Yeah, so 10. So my dear ladies and gentlemen, these are the 10 main causes of the difference. So we pick them one by one and we explain, but for the benefit of doubt and for the sake of some of my students, I'd want to go over again if you don't mind. That being said, let me quickly add that if the session ends, join using the second session details so that we skip the 9 minutes break from them. So I have 7 minutes. Let me pick on the first 2. Unpresented checks. We said these are checks that has been issued to suppliers. Okay, the business has issued those checks to the suppliers or creditors. And they are supposed to take it to the bank for payment, but they have not presented it for payment. Apart from that, there are also checks that have not yet cleared through the banking system. in Ghana, sometimes if you want to clear a check, as in if you want to cash a check, it takes like 3 days, especially when it is interbank, as in ADB check, you are going to pay it into GCB check. It normally takes 3 days maximum for the check to be credited to the account. So these are all reasons why a check may not be presented. Okay, so if you are asked to define an unpresented check, these are checks issued to creditors but have not yet been cleared in the banking system or has not been presented for payment. Now, let's demonstrate this on the bank statement and the cash book so that you appreciate it. So there is it. The business issues the check. So the business is going to credit the cash book. Remember, when you pay a check to your suppliers, you credit your cash book. So let's assume, for instance, on the 15th of January 2024, we issue a check to Araba Mansa. Let's say 20,000. Initially, the balance in the cash book was equal to the balance in the bank statement. So when we issue the check to Araba Mansa is supposed to bring it to the bank, and the bank will acknowledge and pay. So 15th January 2024, they will indicate Araba Mansa, and they will debit that check. So you see, as you credit your cash book, your bank will debit you. And as you debit your cash book when you receive money, your bank will credit you. Okay, so last time I indicated to you that the debit column is the withdrawal or payment side of the bank statement, and the credit column is the deposit or receipt side of the bank statement. Good. So immediately you do this, your bank statement balance would go down to 130 because you are paying money or you are withdrawing money out of the bank account. So you had 150, you are paying 20, you'll be left with 130. If we balance the cash book as well, we are going to get a balance of 130. In that case, the two balances would agree. But what we are saying here is that this check to Araba Mansa has not been presented for payment. So it means the bank has not done any recording regarding that check. So if that happens, you would see or you reckon that your cash book would have a balance of 130, while your bank statement will still have a balance of 150. The more reason why we say unpresented checks can lead to the difference between the two statements. Any question, comment on this before we move to uncredited checks? I think it's easier to understand. Okay. Uncredited checks. These are checks that has been received by the business, but the bank has not yet credited it to the bank account. Okay, so uncredited checks are checks the bank has not credited to the business bank account. So pay attention and follow it. If the business receives a check, it is going to debit the card. So 20th January 2021 or 2024, sorry, we receive a check from Akufu Addo. 70,000. So when you receive a check and you debit your cash book, your bank is supposed to credit you. So the bank would have also indicated 20th January 2024, check from Akufu, and the bank will credit you. So if the bank credits you, your balance will move to 220,000, the 150 plus the 70,000. And when you also balance your cash book, you are going to get 220,000. But the situation here is that the bank has not credited your account. So if that happens, your bank statement will still show 150 while your cash book is showing 220,000. So that is also for the unpresented check. Uncredited checks. Okay. Yes, Jacinda.
Mr. Amor, please, can you please go over what you just said? I did not really get it.
On the uncredited, right?
Yes, please.
Okay, so I'm saying that uncredited checks, these are checks that the business has received, but the bank has not yet credited it. So we know that when the business receives a check, it debits the cash book. So the example I gave is Akufo-Addo giving the business a check. So the business received a check from Akufo-Addo. The business will debit the cash book. And when we do that, you see the balance of the cash book will be 220. So this check will be deposited into the bank so that the bank will credit it. Remember, when the bank credits, it means they are adding to our balance. Okay. But what we are saying here is that this check has not been credited by the bank. So it means that your bank statement will show 150 while your cash book is showing 220. If the check has been credited, the bank statement would have also assumed 220,000. So that is for the uncredited check. The bank has not credited it. I hope that is okay now.
Yes, please. It's better.
Okay.
Thank you.
Good. So I think this session is ending soon. Let's rejoin and continue with the signage check, standing order, etc. So see you shortly in the second session. Please try and rejoin. Try and rejoin. I'm begging you.